And I want to say, if you or anyone you know is suffering from mental health illness, don't be afraid to tell your story. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Hey everyone, welcome to Tough Loss Bro, a podcast. Today we're going to get going with a little bit of fun, our first edition of a lightning round. This round, I'll name an athlete in our lifetime, then Jeff or Steve will tell us why they're overrated. Then I'll turn the tables onto myself and I'll name my one overrated athlete. So let's begin. Okay, Jeff, Jerome Bettis, go.
Overrated. I mean, 3.9 yards a carry throughout his career. He was basically one-dimensional. He never caught. He just ran, and he had 92 touchdowns in his career. 56 of those came from inside the 3-yard line, which is 60% of his touchdowns. It's just, and then let's go back to the Raiders game, September 12th, 2004. He had 3 touchdowns, 5 carries, 1 net yard. That's his career wrapped up in a nutshell in one game.
Wow. All right, this is a lightning round, so we're going to move on. Steve James Harden, go ahead.
Well, 2 seconds. I want to go overrated. Josh Allen, they called him overrated. He won MVP. So we're not all right. But yeah, James Harden, one of the best offensive players ever, MVP, 3 scoring titles, averaged 36 a game during a year, but played for teams that just really didn't do anything. He's played with Kevin Durant, Westbrook, CP3, Kyrie, Embiid, Kawhi, PG, Mitchell from Cleveland. Like, he's played with everybody, and he's just failed. Like 10 points versus the Spurs in a 2017 elimination game, 9 points in a game with Boston in 2023 in an elimination game. Like, he's just, in the biggest moments, he fails.
That's overrated. Yeah, that's overrated. All right, Jeff, lightning round. So we're going again. Jose Canseco, go.
He didn't really do much. Like, he had his 40-40 season, first one ever. He did that. I mean, that's great, but it's 1 year. He's only hit 30 home runs in a full season 4 times after his MVP year. So he just kind of, he had a hot moment, but then just kind of fizzled out really quickly. He played 150 games in a season only 5 times. So 156 OPS plus, 3 times career. Basically, he gave us one iconic summer, and then that's it. So overrated.
All right, Jeff. All right, Steve. It's Jeff. Thanks. Steve, Mike Tyson, go.
Well, Canseco also gave us one iconic fly ball that went off of his head.
Unforgettable.
Oh, that's a big miss for me. Yeah.
Yeah. So Mike Tyson. Man, I'm the boxing guy, so it is what it is. But most feared boxer ever. Youngest heavyweight champ at 20 years old, 44 knockouts. But I think that mythology exceeds his resume. He beat Michael Spinks. Nobody cares about Michael Spinks. He beat Larry Holmes when he was 38. There's a Tupac line. Larry Holmes, flabby and sick. Like, he lost to Buster Douglas. He lost to Holyfield twice. He was losing so bad he bit the dude's ear off. He got his ass kicked by Lennox Lewis. If you look at his box rec, like, it's not that impressive.
Spinks
we remember
was undefeated,
Tyson
though, wasn't he?
looking like he was destroying people more than we remember who he was actually fighting. So, is he feared? Yes. Greatest? Absolutely not. But he's way overrated.
All right, so we're going to move on. Lightning round.
Wow.
Keep going. Deion Sanders, Jeff, go.
Yeah, I'll start with baseball because it's the easy one to say he's overrated. 9 seasons, 263 average, never an all-star. He was basically on that team for marketing. That was it. Like, prime time. They sold tickets, put butts in the seats because Deion was there. And then for the Cowboys, he demanded one of the biggest contracts of that time. He got 7 years for $35 million, which is unheard of for a cornerback, especially a cornerback that doesn't tackle and only covers one side of the field. So it's overrated for that reason. And, you could argue, well, he faced Jerry Rice throughout his career. Yeah, you saw him 10 times. Jerry Rice had 60 receptions for 1,051 yards That's an average of a touchdown, 6 receptions, and 105 yards every game he saw him. So that's not a shutdown. The one time he faced Michael Irvin in the playoffs championship game, Michael Irvin had 7 catches for 195 yards. So he's not really, he's a shutdown corner for the one side of the field he was on, but that wasn't always the number one receiver either. So overrated.
Overrated. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna take it. All right, Steve, your turn. Your
De-
final one, Russell
Deion,
Westbrook.
Deion was a highlight reel. And speaking of highlight reels, Russell Westbrook. So I like Russ. Russ is a dog, but he's just not somebody I want on my team. He was MVP. He averaged a triple double 4 times, which is just crazy, like through a season. But like, what does that even mean? Like, it's just regular like it doesn't matter. So after Kevin Durant left OKC, what happens the next 3 years? First round loss, first round loss, first round loss. Shot selection, turnovers, late game decisions. He averaged 27, 8, and 8. If he averaged 27, 8, and 8 instead of 27, 10, and 10, would anybody really care? It's
No.
2 rebounds.
Nah,
It's true,
probably not.
but it does look good when you have a triple double and you're the
triple-double.
all-time triple double leader by a pretty wide margin.
Arbitrary stat.
Yeah.
Hey, I think it's funny to sit here and talk about overrated athletes because it's a fun little topic, especially for a lightning round. And the Mike Tyson one, because you grow up and you don't like, I don't understand everything about boxing, and you've called in the past, you've called boxers that are kind of like crappy tomato cans, which is absolutely a fantastic boxing term. It's one of my favorite terms in sports. I love that. Deion Sanders, I can understand too. And it's that the one side and not being a traveling corner. Sure. Okay. Overrated. It's a little difficult one for me just because to call someone an overrated athlete that played 2 sports and played in the World Series and in a football game in the same day. It is what it is. We're all entitled to our opinion.
Yeah.
So that'll bring me to my most overrated athlete. Is a baseball Hall of Famer whose career WAR is 38.8. He doesn't have 3,000 hits, nor did he reach the 500 home run plateau. And in his 22-year big league career, he led the league in slugging once in his 25-year season. Only time he ever led the league in anything. And that young man's name is Harold Baines. To put his 38.8 career WAR in perspective, just as a hitter, Shohei has accumulated a 38.9 WAR in his 9 seasons. With that being said, get over yourselves, Hall of Fame, and put in guys from the steroid era. After all, without it, we may never have seen the likes of players like Ichiro and Shohei make their way to the States. Because if my memory serves me correctly, the magic of that Sosa McGuire chasing Maris that season is what brought people back to the game after the 94 strike.
100%.
Yep.
So it's difficult. Yeah, it brought a lot of people back. It's difficult for me to like sit here and see like Harold Baines in the Hall of Fame with nothing accumulated really in his career other than the 22 big league seasons.
Jose Canseco's WAR is 46.
Like
and I just said he's overrated.
Like, it's all...
Sorry.
Wait, one at a time.
Yeah, go Steve.
Jeff first.
Harold Baines, Tim Raines, anything that rhymes with that at this point, like those guys, like why? Because we can't find people to be in the Hall of Fame because people injected steroids, and so they were the best players. Roger Clemens, Barry Bonds. I'm going to say Soper and McGuire, but they saved the game. Like, come on, like just put them in.
Even if it's like I've been to the Hall of Fame, I don't know if you guys have, but even if it's a museum, like that's really what it is. There's a hall where all the plaques are, but otherwise it's just a museum. Like,
it's a celebration of the game, and everything should be acknowledged.
Exactly. And it literally, when I was there a little over a year ago, that whole era is almost ignored. Like completely ignored. I don't remember seeing like, I mean, we were kind of going through it pretty quickly. So, but if I remember correctly, I don't remember seeing like a lot of Bonds paraphernalia or anything like that to like recognize his career.
It's a shame.
So let us know in the comments, guys, what you guys think. Who do you think is the most overrated athlete of your lifetime? Who knows? Maybe we'll discuss your choice or bring it up in the next episode. So moving on, while some of these guys may still have documentaries about them, we all have our favorite sports documentaries. So without further ado, Jeff, sports documentary, what gets you couch locked?
So Free Solo. It's a documentary about this guy named Alex Honnold, and he's a free solo climber. So the way he climbs the mountains, he uses no ropes, he uses no gear. He just goes out there with his bare hands. He has a special pair of shoes on, and he just scales these mountains. So yeah, it's insane. Like it's the most terrifying thing you could ever imagine. And the last 20 minutes of this documentary is when he climbs El Capitan. It's a 3,000-foot mountain in Yellowstone Park here in California, and it's just a face. Like it's just like straight up from the bottom to the top. It took him about 3 hours and 20 minutes to get to the top. And what's crazy is there's this section near the top called Boulder Problem, where he has to do this like precise gymnastic move to get over it, to get to the top. And throughout that entire time, the camera just holds on him. There's no music. There's nothing like telling you how you're supposed to feel in that moment. It's just him breathing, and the wind. It's nuts. Like it's just one of the most terrifying things as you're sitting there watching it. And then you understand that the cameramen have to be these skilled climbers because they're right there next to them. Obviously they're using gear and all that, but the way they shoot this is just brilliant, and how they just let you experience like what he's going through.
No thanks.
It's I know, right? So I love that it's not only, the other thing is I love that it's not only about climbing, but it's a big chunk about it's about his girlfriend, about what he goes through with the relationship, and her fear of whether he's gonna come back or not. Like you never know. He also has 2 kids, so you have that to think about. And like I couldn't imagine if my significant other was out there on the top of a mountain with absolutely nothing. I can't imagine like how I would feel about that. It's just a constant like anxiety and stress. But yeah, it's mainly that one brings it to me mainly because of how they shoot it, and how they just bring you into that moment, and there's like nothing else. You're locked in, and you feel like you're right there on the mountain with them. It's unreal. It's unreal. If you guys haven't seen it, I definitely recommend checking it out.
No,
it's just
I've seen it. I've seen it, and while it's a documentary, I think it's more a horror movie, to be honest with you. It scares me. It scares me. Like that scene that you were describing, because I remember it very vividly when he was climbing the mountain. It was just like him breathing and the wind. That had like my heart I distinctly remember my heart like pounding in my chest, because I felt that anxiety and that I felt so much fear for myself because obviously it was the documentary made, and he survived that climb of El Capitan, but no, that's more of a horror movie for me. It's scary.
It's a visceral feeling you get, like you actually, and it's like you're experiencing it. But yeah, he's still alive now. Just so spoiler alert. Yeah, he's still good.
He didn't fall. All right, Steve. All right, Steve. What about you? What sports documentary is a remote drop for you?
Oh man, so this is a good one. And I've met OJ in person. I actually met him at a Bills bar here in Vegas. OJ Made in America. This is probably one of the best things that I've ever seen when it comes to creating a documentary. I actually won an Academy Award for Best Documentary. It's 5 parts. It's about 8 hours with an ESPN 30 for 30. Honestly, I think it's brilliant because it's not really like an OJ documentary. It's more about a documentary about America. Like it uses just like OJ as a lens. So people forget OJ was a Heisman winner, an NFL superstar, first player to rush for 2,000 yards. He did it in 14 games. Actor, Hertz commercials. Hilarious enough, he did another, I can't remember the brand, but he also did other commercials where he did the gloves.
The isotoners. Yeah.
Isotoners.
Ironic. Yeah.
The isotoners. Yeah. Massive celebrity. And he crossed beyond football. everybody knows who OJ is. I could go on about this for like an hour, but then the documentary zooms out and it gives you a history of his time in LA. And everybody's time in LA. LAP, how they treat the black community, police brutality, Rodney King, officers acquitted of things that you saw them doing on camera, the 1992 LA riots. Then 2 years later, OJ Simpson's arrested. You're not really just watching a murder case. You're watching decades of racial tension and just distrust of the LAPD, which at the time, most people don't know, was called the Rampart District, which was the Shield, if you ever watched the TV show The Shield. But honestly, I think OJ, he was basically America's first reality television show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
we know everybody. We know OJ, Johnny Cochran, Robert Shapiro, Marcia Clark, Christopher Darden, Judge Ito, Kato Kalin, Mark Furman.
Nice.
We know all of
all
them.
Dead.
We should.
Yeah, all dead.
Pretty sure they're all dead.
Yeah, I think they are.
No. Robert Shapiro's still around. He has an Instagram.
Oh, he is. Yeah, he is. Yep. Yeah, he is.
Okay.
I do that.
You know.
Yeah, he's
I was just going with theme.
These were storylines that were created, and it was like the first curated reality TV show that basically went like onto C-SPAN and then like became just lore. Like, I
mean, even the chase. We all watched
exactly.
that
I was
chase.
just going to say that. Everybody remembers like the OJ white Bronco chase down the 405, heading to maybe Mexico. Nobody knew where he was going.
We watched it in school.
Dude, he had
I remember watching it in school. What's up?
He's going to talk about Al Cali. Is like, dude's going to blow his head off like in the back seat.
Yep.
Like, AC Cowling.
Everything that happened in that was basically what, in my opinion, created reality TV.
Yeah, I mean, you know what?
That makes so much sense.
That because I was a person that always would say, Real World on MTV was like the first reality show. I think that came out in '92, so I think like that may have been like the beginning of reality TV. But I don't like it was MTV. Not everybody had cable, so the OJ thing was everywhere. That was it was broadcast on like ABC, NBC. Like that trial was everywhere. It just captured the attention. I don't even think it just captured the attention here in the States. I think it captured the attention of the entire world. And as you were saying, like with the racial profiling, as someone that lives in LA, that is unfortunately our police department is one of the most corrupt and has been one of the most corrupt in the history of police departments. Like it is documented. It's insane how corrupt and horrible this police department actually is. But that being said, I'd like to move on to my sports documentary.
Before you jump into that real quick, I just wanted to comment one thing about that OJ documentary that really stood out for me in it is how, like Steve, you said how he transcended outside sports and he became more of like this figure. He kind of separated himself from the black community in that manner, where like other guys like Jim Brown and Muhammad Ali they were doing their part to help the black community, and he kind of stayed away from it. But then when the trial came up, he used that racial injustice and he used the very thing he stayed away from to help him get off. And that was like that's what really stood out for me in that documentary and what makes it so good.
Yeah.
So I completely agree with you on that one.
So let me hop on that one because just a quick quote. He says, "I'm not black, I'm OJ."
Yes. Yep. Yes.
Yeah, okay. I know that song. I know that. I'm not going to sing it, but I know it. I know Jay-Z's work very well. I'm very educated in Jay-Z's work. But as for my sports documentary, it may have been the most anticipated sports documentary of the last 10 years, and that's The Last Dance. The Last Dance follows the 97-98 Chicago Bulls as they embarked on their second three-peat in 8 years. As a teenager watching Jordan, Pippen, and Rodman, who I'd argue were the first iteration of the big three in the NBA, I idolized them. I had Jordan posters on my wall, a Rodman jersey, And since Jordan wasn't in NBA Jam, I'd dominate my opponents in that game using the Bulls led by Scottie Pippen. But what you don't see as a teenager is all the turmoil that the team faced that season, not on the court, but off of it. Jerry Krause, who was the GM at the time, seemed hell-bent on breaking up that dynasty. He wanted to rebuild the aging roster, creating a hostile work environment, which led to tensions between him and head coach Phil Jackson. From there, it's all downhill. Pippen requested a trade. Jordan retired. Rodman managed to stay in the limelight for other reasons, but the conflict between Krause and Jordan goes a little deeper than just The Last Dance. It actually goes back to the mid '80s. If you want to know more about that, it's actually kind of interesting. I would definitely look it up. It's great context behind the dynamic of their work relationship. Um, but yeah, that Last Dance, I remember during COVID, there was like a lot of pressure because they weren't going to release it till later in the year, but then COVID happened and like it was like forced out in April instead of later on in the year. Because literally we were all at home in April of 2000, and that's when it debuted. So what do you guys think about The Last Dance?
I loved it.
Sorry, go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, it was one of those things, kind of like the OJ trial that we were all locked into at the same exact time because of COVID. Like if you're a sports fan, you sat there and watched The Last Dance, and then that's pretty much all everyone talked about as sports fans for the next however long that played out for. I forget how many weeks.
It was 10 episodes. They released 2 a week.
That's what. Yep. Definitely one of the greatest, like the top 5 documentary for sure.
Awesome. John, Steve, would you have to add?
Yeah, I would have to agree. It's almost like because Michael Jordan is just like this figure with all this like lore behind him, and like you don't get the access. And so when they did The Last Dance, it was like seeing the man behind the curtain. They just did it so well. They did it so well. Like when he's like watching stuff on the laptop and he's like watching people's opinions or the iPad, and he's like just laughing. He's like literally laughing at people. Like it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, because he could sit there and know he's the greatest to ever put a uniform on in the game, or at least in this generation. Because I'm a generational guy. I think there's greatest in each generation, and he was the greatest in his. So, guys, let us know in the comments what your favorite sports documentaries are down below. Just let us know. Join the conversation and see, because I just love to hear other people's opinions on this. But we all know those Bulls teams in the '90s were great championship teams. But were any of those teams the best championship team of all time? Debatable. For sure. We're just to make sure, we're just gonna tackle that now. Steve, who do you think is the best championship team?
You know who I have.
Yes, we do.
It's right up there. I don't even think I have to make an argument. It's my argument. I know that they're probably not the best championship team, but the Knicks of this year, they went 16-3. They dominated everybody. It was amazing to see. Like they were just pounding people. They beat Cleveland by like 57 points in like the clinching game. Like they were just pounding everybody. I don't get it. I don't even get how they were that good. I would say Cat came into his own. Cat became a different player, and Cat will eventually be getting a new contract and leaving because they're not going to pay him. And Brunson became a different player, and he was dropped basically by the Mavericks. Like the team chemistry on that team was just insane. The only team that had even a similar record in the playoffs was the Warriors in 2016. Like they may not be the best championship team, but as a Knicks fan, they're my favorite championship team.
Hey man, I'll take that pick because it was a great run. It's fresh in your memory, and it was 53 years. So it's not. I don't think it's an easy choice because it's controversial to say like a team that just won, but the run that they went on in the playoffs, just epic, and may never be duplicated, honestly. But I know maybe Jeff wants to say something about the Knicks.
I mean, to be like, I'll say they got a hold of me through this championship run. I did get pulled into it a little bit, even though I hate the Knicks. Like, I really hate the Knicks, and I'm not even a big basketball fan. I just don't like the Knicks. I don't know why. And that was a historic run. I'll give them that. But they didn't have to play the Celtics either. The 76ers took care of that for them. So they probably would have beat the Celtics anyway, but they didn't play one of the better teams in the East to get to that finals. I know I'm just being a hater, but
it's okay.
Screw the Knicks.
Just keep it going. Who do you have as for your championship team then?
Well, we're staying along the Homer route, so I'm going to go 2024 Eagles. Go Birds. It's that team from week 5 on was the best team in the league that year, and it wasn't even close. They had Jalen Hurts playing at the top of his game. A.J. Brown missed a couple games, and he still ended up with over 1,000 yards. Devontae Smith is also a number 1 on that team. Goddard doesn't stay healthy all the time, but his hand, some of the best hands in the NFL. That offensive line, top 5 offensive line. Defense, led under Vic Fangio. He turned that defense around. They may have started slow, but towards the end of that year, they were stopping. Nobody could get through that defense. That defensive line of Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter just up in the middle, just wrecking guys all year. And then you get to the playoffs, and they just run through it. I remember that year, everyone's like, oh, wait till you face the Rams. Wait till you face the Commanders, blah, blah, blah. Took the Rams down in the snow. Barkley running his head off. Then Washington came to Philly, and what was that score? 55-23. And that was from the first play. Barkley, the little spin move to the zone. And from there, just never looked back. And then Super Bowl, the Chiefs, the second coming of Tom Brady with Patrick Mahomes at the helm. He's already crowned like the greatest quarterback ever in year 7 of his career. And what did we do? We stomped him 40-22. It was never a game. And that dagger play is one of the things, as I'm starting to talk, I get chills a lot on this podcast, it seems like. But that dagger play, I stood up, Adam was there, I slammed my hat on the ground, game. That was it. I just don't think there's a better team assembled than that team. Nobody would have beat them. I don't care who came into town. They would have beat everybody.
Would have beat the doors off them.
Yep.
Who was the previous defensive coordinator? Because I remember telling you when they hired Vic Fangio, and I was like, oh, man, that's a great hire. Who was it before that?
Oh, God, who was it? It was that bum. He didn't make it through the season. He got fired.
Dom?
I can't remember his name. He's one of those guys, like the offensive coordinator from last year. I already forgot his name because, who cares?
Right.
They're horrible.
I can name the Jets offensive coordinator from last year. Taylor
I don't think you should.
No, I did, but I could.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I can't argue with that Eagles run because I'm fairly certain we watched every one of those games together. Absolutely, you and I watched the Super Bowl together, but I think we at least watched the championship game together too. I'm fairly certain we did. So I can't say that I can't argue with your. I just think you're a homer. That's all.
Oh, I am. Oh, and Barkley ran for 2,000 yards that year. Like just to.
Yes.
I mean,
but he was an MVP.
Oh, that's such garbage. It's such garbage.
That was perfect, Steve. Absolutely perfect. So I'm going to move on to mine. And I'm not going to lie, this one was difficult for me because there have been many teams that have gotten out of the gate and stopped their opponents, as we've talked about, all season long and rode that momentum through the playoffs and to a championship. But there is one team that I kept coming back to when I was doing my research, and I'm going to hate myself forever, but the 1998 Yankees.
Oh, God.
Before we all moan and groan, let's take a moment and look at how dominant this team was. They won 114 games while scoring 965 runs, outscoring their opponents by 309. The offense was stacked. 827 OPS, 5 different players belted 20 home runs, led by Tino Martinez with 28. Bernie Williams won the batting title, bat 339. And pitching, they had that too. David Cone, David Wells, Andy Pettit highlighted a rotation that won 79 games. 79. And that's not to mention the dominant bullpen, as we all know. when that door of the bullpen opened and Sandman blared from the sound system. And for all the uninitiated, that's Mario Rivera, the only player in history to receive 100% vote for the Hall of Fame. And finally, that brings me to their 11-2 postseason run that culminated in a sweep of the San Diego Padres. Their final record that season, including the playoffs, was 125-50, 75
Wow.
games over 500. I'd argue that the 98 Yankees team is one of the greatest teams ever assembled. And now, excuse me while I'll go throw up.
You should. Because that,
Guys, that was
that
hard.
was nauseating.
Like,
yeah, that
it
was
is.
nauseating. Oh,
It was very hard for me to like,
God.
but I'm not a homer. I mean, Steve wasn't really a homer in his either. It's just I just kind of like in doing my research, like I said, I just kept looking at that team, and it was really hard to say like they weren't one of the greatest teams ever assembled in baseball ever.
You're
150 wins is insane, or whatever, and
you're
whatever how many wins I said, because I don't even
you're
remember. But
not
75
wrong. It's
games.
just you're not wrong. It's just vomit inducing.
It is.
Yeah,
And
it
you're not
is.
wrong. They were a great team. It must be nice to have like the richest owner in baseball.
At
Who's
that
that
time,
now?
yeah,
Is
they
it?
were.
Is it? Is
Who's
it?
who's the richest owner in baseball now?
The guy on my hat owns the team, and he's terrible. He's not doing anything right. He's an
Are they
idiot.
75 games over 500 this year?
They're like 75 games under 500.
They might be. That's a pretty terrible season.
Jeff's trying to get me activated right now.
All right, let's move on before anything crazy happens. So if we can't be at the game when your championship team, or when your team is winning it all, and your couch doesn't provide the atmosphere you're looking for, we mostly turn to a sports bar or venues that have the games on. So, fellas, we're talking some team-themed sports bars. A lot of people live in cities away from the team they root for, so it's important to find a nice bar to hang with like-minded people to cheer on your favorite team. So, Jeff, you have a favorite sports team bar?
Yeah, I mean, we've had since living in living in California, LA first, now Santa Barbara. In LA, we had the Greyhound. I don't remember what town that was in LA or what part of LA it was.
Pasadena.
Or
Highland Park.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Yeah, Highland Park. That was a great little bar. They don't do it anymore. But Adam, you and I got to watch the Eagles beat up on the Vikings in that 2017 championship game. That was a ton of fun seeing it. Like,
yeah.
The best part about those bars, like you get to experience your hometown feel while you're out of town. And like one of my favorite parts about it is being able to involve my wife. Like, she doesn't go kicking and screaming. I don't have to drag her out the door. She actually enjoys it. She's like, this is awesome. She puts on her jersey, her hat or whatever, and she just gets into it with all the rest of the fans there. And she loves that camaraderie too. It's just like your own little family outside your hometown. It's awesome. I love it. It's paramount to being a sports fan to have that kind of that atmosphere or that camaraderie in because I'm 3,000 miles away from Philly, so it's nice to have that out here.
So what do you think, Steve? What do you like to hang your hat when you watch your team?
So I have an intimate relationship with this place. Like, I know the owners. Like, I've talked to them tons of times. I see them all the time. They're from Buffalo. I'm actually not from Buffalo, but I'm a Bills fan. Naked City Pizza in Las Vegas. They've had multiple locations. They have changed locations, and I've followed everywhere that they've gone. They have the best wings in town, which is important to me. I just had them a couple of days ago. Yep. So they have the best, probably one of the best pizzas in town. And then when I'm like, I don't know, bored on a Sunday, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go out and watch. That's where I go. And it's all Bills fans, and it's crazy. And they're all shouting all the Bills songs and all that kind of stuff. And it's just like, it's like being like a little mini stadium. And it's so much fun. Like, I love it. Like, it's hard to beat. It's right by the airport. It's a good time. It's a little dive bar, but they have great food, great fans there. It's just Naked City Pizza, man. Like, it's unmatched in my opinion. I've been to a lot of different Bills bars. It's unmatched.
I love dive bars.
Dive bars are the best. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Especially like a hole in the wall with like-minded people to watch a game. The atmosphere gets raucous and it's loud and it's fun. It feels like It really feels like I think something like that gives you the best kind of feeling of being in a section, perhaps with a bunch of fans surrounding you, because you are
Yep.
like it is like shoulder to shoulder in places like that. So it does absolutely make it a lot more fun to be in that kind of atmosphere. But as for me, I'm more of a like plant myself on the couch kind of guy and watch the game. I'm not a big drinker, and that has a lot to do with it. But let's say in a fantasy world, the Jets went on a championship run. Okay. I'd perhaps find myself at Q's Billiard Club on the west side here in LA. While the Jets don't have like an official Jets bar here, Jets fans make their way to Q on Sundays for game day. Best part is if things don't go your way the way you'd hoped, man, there's plenty to distract you there. You could play some pool, there's shuffleboard. Just step outside if you want and walk 4 miles to the beach, dig your toes in the sand, and forget the Jets ever existed. I mean,
Probably your
that's
best bet.
actually could be as I sit here in my now traded Sauce Gardner jersey.
What a shame. What a
I mean, I'm
shame.
sure someone else will wear number one, but their name's not Gardner. Um, but yeah, it's like I said, I'm not like a huge sports bar or bar guy. And unless I'm gonna be with, I'm not gonna go anywhere by myself, and I know my significant
Oh,
other
I
isn't
will.
gonna do it.
Oh, I
Um,
will.
Yeah, I will
I
too.
go by
I
yeah,
don't
myself
care.
all the time. I don't care.
nah. Be good for you guys. That's not me. It's not my personality. I'm such a big introvert that I'm not. It's not for me. I can't do something like that.
But as
Eh,
for the couch, like I agree with you there. Like if I had my choice of where to watch a game, always like if I had to say you can only watch the game one way for the rest of your life, it's going to be from my couch. Like that's over live game, that's over the bar, your couch, your TV, your food. That's the best way to watch a football game, hands down.
yeah.
Great.
Great. I agree. And having a party with people too. If you invite people
Yeah,
over, I
yeah.
think,
Yep.
you could create or mimic that kind of atmosphere if you can get, I mean, particularly if you have enough fans in the area,
Yeah.
that you can bring together that you're friends with, obviously, that want to come over, or just football fans or baseball fans or whatever, whatever the camaraderie of sports, I think is always, fun to be around other people in that kind of atmosphere for sure, even if it is just at home having a party with your own food. So as we always do, now it's time for our signature part of the show, getting back up. We share stories of adversity and perseverance in the human side of sports. Jeff, let's get the ball rolling with you today.
Cool. So I got to preface this because I'm doing Deion Sanders for my getting back up. And I know earlier I talked about how he was overrated as a player, but I'm going to talk about Coach Prime, his post playing years. So we'll go back to 2021. Deion Sanders, he loses two of his toes on his left foot. He has blood clots, poor circulation. It's all from his diabetes that he's been managing for years. The doctors pretty much told him they might have to take his entire foot. So, prime time, this guy that built his entire career on locking guys down, well, supposedly, is now might not have a foot. So, and then it didn't even stop there. In 2025, he finds out he has bladder cancer through one of his scans of his leg when it was just like a routine scan to check up on his leg from from the diabetes and everything. And they just happened to catch this cancer. So it was super lucky. They weren't looking for it. It just happened to find it. So they find that they're able to take care of it. They're able to remove his bladder, and then they rebuild his bladder using part of his intestine, which is
Jesus.
that's wild to me. I can't even imagine that. And that same year, he's still coaching. He's on the sideline, icing his legs throughout the game, throughout all that pain. He's like just coaching through all these medical issues. And that's only like part of the issue. Well, first, sorry, he was getting fitted for his silicone prosthetic toes as well that same year, so he can fit into his shoe a little bit better. So rough year for Deion. But then on top of that, he has his two sons that he's trying to take care of as well. He's got Shador, who was in the draft a couple years ago. He fell down to the 5th round, which everyone laughed about. It was a big thing, but now he's actually fighting for the QB1 job. Granted, it's with the Cleveland Browns, but still, it's a QB1 job in the NFL. His other son, Shiloh, he went undrafted, but ended up signing with the Rays or the Rays, the Bucks, Tampa Bay. And he eventually he had some issues. He had some personal issues, and the Bucks ended up cutting him, so he doesn't have a team now. So that's just part of it too. Like he's managing his two sons, two separate careers, like two separate paths. He's trying to help out his sons as well as taking care of his medical issues. So say what you want about Prime, the man just keeps fighting no matter what adversity he's put through, missing two toes, one kidney's worth of surgeries deep, and he's still out there every single day. So much respect to Deion, despite what I said to him earlier tonight.
Yeah. Steve, I know that that might be something that hits you a little bit, that story. So if you want to speak on it real quick, and then just go from there and then just tell us who you have today from that.
Yeah, I wasn't really planning to talk about this. I was recently diagnosed with diabetes, and so like that actually kind of hits hard that he lost toes, and it was because of the diabetes. Because I'll tell you right now, as we sit here, I can't feel any of my toes, and so it's an everyday struggle. I get it, and it's wild to think that like you go through that, and one of the best athletes in the world ever goes through that, and it's just a disease. It is what it is, but I don't want to get like too much into that. It sucks. It's a daily struggle, but I am managing it. But anyway, so for my getting back, I'm going to go a little bit off brand. I'm going to go with Tupac Shakur. The reason I'm going to go with Tupac is because I live in Vegas. The trial just started this week for his murder, which happened 30 years ago, which is wild that it took 30 years to get somebody into a trial for this. He was my favorite artist of all time. Like if you combine, let's call him Otani, right? Like movies and rapping. Like he was kind of Otani. Like he was one of my favorite of all time. 1994, Tupac's 23 years old. He's on trial in New York. Quad Studios. He gets robbed and shot 5 times. He survives. This is the one that's famous where like Diddy and Biggie were upstairs, and so there's all that kind of drama around it. But the crazy thing is the next day he checks himself out because he's so afraid that someone's gonna come finish him off in the hospital. So like he's been shot 5 times and in like ICU, and he's like, no, I gotta go. Like I'm against doctor's orders. Like I gotta go. Next day he's in court. He's in court for for first degree sexual abuse from like this weird trial where they said he raped somebody in a club, which I don't believe. Sorry if anybody disagrees with me, but he ends up going to prison. So he goes to prison for I don't know, like 10, 11 months. February 95. That's when he went. At the same time he's in prison, his album "Me Against the World" goes #1. He's sitting in prison. "Dear Mama," "So Many Tears," "Me Against the World," those are blowing up. So his career should be collapsing, but it's getting bigger. And so the comeback is when he gets out in 95. He gets out. He doesn't slowly rebuild. He goes directly back to work. 4 months later, "All Eyes on Me," "California Love," "How Do You Want It," "I Ain't Mad at You," "Ambitions Is a Rider." Like this is peak Tupac. Like his run was insane. Like shot 5 times, conviction, prison, #1 album, gets out, "All Eyes on Me," all in 15 months. Like and he dies at 25. He gets murdered. I drive past this place all the time in Vegas where he got killed. But he's dead at 25. I don't know anybody that I could think who's, I'll use Jeff's term, whose flame burned hotter, like for that certain peak of time. And they're still talking about new music that Tupac hasn't released that we're going to get to hear. I couldn't even tell you how many different like mixtapes that I've had where it's just new song. Like this guy just recorded all day long. And so when he got out of prison after getting shot, he got back up and then he just went hardcore and just recorded. And it was just I'm not even gonna talk about his movie stuff, but like it's just that's getting back up, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
My daughter listens to Tupac, just almost 2 years old.
Yeah,
She loves
I
it.
Oh,
love
She
that.
I love it.
bounce into it.
I love that. I love that.
It's so cool.
I know, Steve, you didn't want to talk about his acting because you wanted to cover the music. But I'll just cover one of my favorite Tupac movies, which is Poetic Justice.
Ooh,
Um, just uh, as someone who has acted and things like that, his performance in that movie is amazing. That guy, you could tell the tools he used to write his music in his acting.
Yeah.
So I
yeah.
don't like
Hmm.
I can't really get into it. It's because it's a lot of minutia to talk about, like the parallels. It would take I could talk a whole episode about how music and acting and songwriting are so similar. And how, because I believe that music is built on emotion, and my belief
100%.
in acting is emotion. The only way to connect to people and the best way to connect to people through art in those two forms is reaching them through emotion. And in Tupac's brief acting career, he gave it everything. As you said, like as we will, I'll always steal that term from Jeff. His flame burned brightest. That's I love that term. And for Tupac, it's really to be dead when he at that age, and I'm just as big as fan of Tupac as you and as Jeff's daughter apparently. Um, so today, I'm going to talk about something. My getting back up is going to be a little bit different. Um, I'm not going to tell a story about a famous athlete who turned their career around or after a personal tragedy, nor will I deliver some sort of narrative about someone overcoming adversity. Uh, Today, I'm going to talk about myself and my mental health journey. So just bear with me. It's not um, something that's easy to talk about for me. Uh, so
Take your time,
Yeah,
brother.
you're good. You're good.
I know that this has mainly been a sport podcast, and while we've shared our thoughts on rivalries and best ways to eat a wing, and this pod is, also about life, sports, and getting back up. My mental health journey began about 3 years ago when I was in a dark place in my life. I didn't know up from down. My relationships with people were deteriorating, and just getting out of bed most days was a chore for me. At that time, I was working in the entertainment industry, trying to gain as much knowledge behind the camera to match my knowledge in front of the camera. And as many of you may know, the industry is in flux. At that time, work was sporadic at best, and 2 days of work on a gig, I'd have off for a month. And then maybe I'd get lucky and get a job that was 10 days, and those would fulfill me. And I felt I was doing those jobs and they were meaningful and impactful. And while something was bubbling underneath the surface, I was broken. Um, I was depressed. I was stressed out, full of anxiety. And these feelings were new to me. I didn't know how to quell the emotions that came with it. I was crying every day. I'd lash out on my girlfriend. Um, I get angry at just about everything. Um, and
Hmm.
then my partner, he stepped in and she said, "You got to do something." Um,
Take your
I
time.
get it, man. Take your
Take your
time.
time.
so that's when I sought help. Um, I found a therapist, and I made a promise to myself that I wouldn't hold back in those sessions. I was determined to get the most out of every appointment. I wanted to be vulnerable, open, and honest and sincere with what I was going through. And as I sit here today, obviously not as a cured man, but as a man still walking the path to happiness, fulfillment in his life. And that's the thing. There's no end date to healing. And that's okay. You just take each day, sometimes 1 minute at a time is needed. And we just have to try and recognize the patterns to best steer ourselves clear of the negative thoughts. The journey may never end, but if you're willing to do the work, the process can begin. And I want to say, if you or anyone you know is suffering from mental health illness, don't be afraid to tell your story. Don't be afraid to ask for help. When you're down to the depths and you're feeling is the most difficult thing you could do. However, you got to care for yourself just so you can get back up. So, um, I don't know how we kind of move on from that. And,
I got you.
but
Yeah.
if you fellas, if there's anything, final thoughts that you guys have before we get wrapped up here, go ahead, please.
Hey,
I got you.
I'm sorry, man. We both love you. We love you from the bottom of our hearts. I'll speak for myself. I love you from the bottom of my heart,
Yeah,
and I'm
of
really
course.
sorry
Thank
that
you,
you
guys.
went through that. That sucks. It sucks because a lot of times, I mean, I've known you for 20 plus years, and
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know it started 3 years ago. It makes me feel kind of crappy myself that, you know, I didn't know 3 years ago you were going through this. I know you talk to a therapist now and all that, but, you know, I'm just glad you were able to bring that to us today, and,
I
you know,
appreciate
our audience too. And hopefully someone hears this and it helps someone
I
else
hope
going
so,
through the
and
same thing you're going through.
I hope so. Yeah, I just hope that's, that's why I wanted to bring it, because it is a tough subject for me. Um, and, I wanted to be able to be vulnerable with our audience and with you guys,
Yeah.
and really just to show that it's okay to be emotional, really, as a grown man, and it's all okay. Like, it's all tough right now. Everything's really difficult. And I think at
Yes,
this
it is.
time, this is a time when we all kind of can group together and really just like pull in the same direction and help one another out whenever we can. Um,
Absolutely.
and I mean, it's kind of difficult to end it right there, but that'll do it for
Well, no,
today's episode.
No,
I got,
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
got something.
yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Steve.
So
I got
Uh,
something too.
I didn't know. Sorry, guys.
One, like Jeff said, we obviously really care about you. I know
Thank
we're
you.
running long on our episode here. Thanks for sharing that. Thanks for sharing how you feel. I know it's not easy, and you're probably only just scratching the surface. I would just tell anybody, any man, any woman, whatever. Like, I'm going through stuff on myself. I mentioned the diabetes thing, which I had no plan on mentioning, and so like I'm going through a whole bunch of stuff. I need a whole support team. I need a dietitian. I need a therapist. I need like everything. Like. What I would say is to anybody who is struggling out there, don't suffer in silence.
So I'll end this on a positive note. I just had a little tidbit of information to share with everyone. I thought it was kind of fun. Hayden Panettiere, this wasn't good news. R.I.P. She just recently passed away. But her parents, Ashley Crowe and Matthew John Armstrong, are both actors, and they were both in the show Heroes. And she babysat PCA when he was a kid. And he just came out and talked about that and said how he had a big crush on her when he was a kid. And I just thought that was just a cool little story, just how the world is so small. And
It is. Yeah.
I just thought that was a fun story to tell everybody in case you guys didn't know.
PCA's parents, Peter Armstrong's, both of them are actors. His dad was in Heroes. His mom was in that movie Little Big League, where the kid grandfather passes away and he becomes the owner and then eventually the manager of the Minnesota Twins. His Peter Armstrong's mom played the mother in that movie. So yeah, it does show you like what a small world we actually live in. Okay, so
Pretty cool.
that will do it for today's episode. So don't forget, for more elite sports content or more content like this, just like and subscribe, follow us on all of our socials, and join in on the conversation. Thank you for watching, everybody, and take care.